Mr. Rosenstein, the Attorney General of the United States called it a false and utterly baseless Russian collusion narrative against the president. There have been other things said, too. The chairman of the committee, on December the 9th, described the FBI's counterintelligence investigation as an endeavor that, quote, became a criminal conspiracy to defraud the court, to trample on the rights of an American citizen, Mr. Carter Page. He went on today, this morning, in talking about whether we has any lawful predicate to appoint Mueller to begin with. He called the Hurricane Crossfire one of the most corrupt, biased investigations in the history of the FBI. Mr. Rosenstein, that was an investigation that you were in charge of. It was conducted by an individual that you personally selected. Do you consider it to be an utterly baseless, corrupt criminal investigation as you reflect on it today?
I do not consider the investigation to be corrupt, Senator, but I certainly understand, I understand the President's frustration given the outcome, which was in fact that there was no evidence of conspiracy between Trump campaign advisors and Russians.
We're about to embark on an investigation by this committee, which may be the largest investigation I've ever witnessed here. Tomorrow, I understand the chairman is going to ask for authority to issue 53 subpoenas for witnesses. What an irony that we began this year in an impeachment trial where the Republicans refused to produce one document or one witness, not one witness, when it came to questions of the impeachment of the president. Tomorrow, there will be 53 names submitted, and they will not be cleared with the minority. As I understand the proposal by the chairman, he alone will have the authority to decide which ones to call. We will attempt to amend his subpoena on the Democratic side to make sure that if we are clearly trying to find the truth in this matter about whether this was an utterly baseless investigation, we believe we should also be calling a few other witnesses. How about Michael Cohen, who negotiated a Trump Tower Moscow deal until at least June of 2016? Perhaps Paul Manafort, repeatedly passing campaign information to Konstantin Kilimnik, who had Russian intelligence ties. Konstantin Kilimnik himself, Manafort's Russian national business partner, which Mueller found to have Russian intelligence ties. Rick Gates, deputy chairman, who instructed Manafort to feed campaign information to Kilimnik. George Papadopoulos, whose comments prompted the opening of the FBI investigation. Michael Flynn, Roger Stone, there are more on the list. If we truly want to get to the bottom of this and bring all the witnesses in as to whether this was a baseless claim of Russian collusion with anyone in the United States, certainly we want the record to be complete, don't we? Don't we want witnesses to give us complete testimony? I would hope so. Mr. Rosenstein, let me ask you the bottom line question when it comes to what we are considering today. Mr. Mueller, whom I respect, though I may disagree with in one context or another, reached some very basic conclusions in light of any wrongdoing in the FISA court involving Carter Page and others and all the information you know today. Mr. Rosenstein, do you disagree with the key finding of Mr. Mueller that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential campaign in a sweeping and systematic fashion?
I agree with that finding.
Do you agree the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome?
I don't know what the government was thinking, Senator. I can only tell you what their conduct was.
Do you agree that there were more than 120 contacts, as Mr. Mueller found in his report, between the Trump campaign and individuals linked to Russia?
I have no reason to dispute that.
Do you agree the Trump campaign knew about, welcomed, and expected to benefit electorally from Russia's interference, as Mr. Mueller found in his report?
What page are you referring to, Senator?
I'm happy to tell you. It's Volume 1, pages 1 and 2.
I'm not sure whether you were quoting from the report, Senator, but I have it in front of me.
Statement within the report, Volume 1, pages 1 and 2.
Yes, sir, I have it right here.
Trump campaign knew about, welcomed, and expected to benefit electorally from Russia's interference. Do you disagree with that? Have any reason to disagree with that finding?
Yeah, I apologize, Senator. I'm not seeing those words in the report. If you could direct me to where it is in the report, I'll be happy to.
I will. I don't have it at the moment in front of me, but I will produce it. Do you disagree with the Mueller report conclusion? The Trump campaign planned a press strategy, a communications campaign, and a messaging based on possible release of Clinton emails by WikiLeaks? Volume 1, page 54.
That says, according to Mr. Gates. That's attributed to Mr. Gates. I don't think that's a finding of Mueller, but it's what one of the witnesses said.
Do you have any reason to believe it's not true?
I have no information beyond the fact that the witness said it, Senator.
The bottom line is this. For over a year, this report has been public. It has been debated. It has been parsed, analyzed, and the bottom line conclusions have not been disputed. Though there may have been some wrongdoing involving any one person in the investigation, it boggles the mind that the Attorney General of the United States would say this is baseless. I yield.
Thank you, and I'll turn to Senator Lee in a minute, but I'm going to respond, if I may, about what I'm doing and why. I believe, and all of us believe, that if the Republican Party had paid Mr. Steele through an organization money to dig up dirt on Hillary Clinton, and he used a Russian to create a bunch of garbage, it was used to get a warrant against a Clinton campaign operative, you'd have a little different a view of this. That you would be raising holy hell, and all your friends in the media would be front page news everywhere. Treason. But as Trump, it's okay, as long as you're out to get somebody you need to get, damn the way you do it. Well, this committee is not going to accept that standard, my friend. This committee looked at everything you wanted us to look at in terms of Russian behavior. Did Russia interfere? You better believe they did. Will they do it again? Yes, they will. Was this the Ukrainians? No, it was the Russians who stole the emails. It was the Russians who have divided the American people in terms of the 2016 campaign. But it wasn't the Russians, my friend, who withheld information from the FISA court, keeping Carter Page's life turned upside down. It wasn't the Russians who refused to tell the court that the underlying dossier that was crucial to the Carter Page warrant was a bunch of garbage. It wasn't the Russians who manipulated an email to keep getting a warrant against American citizens. It wasn't the Russians who withheld information from the court about General Flynn that they were setting him up and out to get him. It was the Department of Justice. It was the FBI. It was people who hated Trump. If people had a political bias, an agenda to destroy him before he was elected and after he was elected. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And if you want people subpoenaed, I will certainly listen to what you got to say. But this stinks. This is a sad episode in the history of the FBI. There was no there in August 2017. And it may not bother you, but it bothers us. And I hope it will bother the American people, and we'll fix it.